In this screencast, I'll show you how to turn off the reading view in Word, how to set your sound systems, and also how to set up your trackpad for the Toshiba. So let's first go to the reading view. Here I've got an email, and on the email attached to it is a Word document. Now when I open up that Word document, I get the reading view. I'm not too keen on this particular view, as some of you have also told me as well, how do you switch this off, or ask me how to switch this off. So if we go to the view sort of side of things, you can go to edit document. Now in my options, if I go to file and options, you can see just down here it says open email attachments and other uneditable files in reading view. If you deselect that and then click OK and close this down, and if I open up this again, and it will go straight to the editing view, which is a lot easier, I think, to read and print. Secondly, sound options. So I'm just going to right click on my sound options and click on sound. In one of the other videos I told you that really you should have no sounds as your default sound scheme. Now that's quite useful, because then when an email comes in and things like this, you don't get all of those sounds being produced whilst you're in the classroom. But there's one other little setup which I forgot to mention, which is under communications. Windows thinks it's quite smart, and it will actually be listening all of the time for ringtones. And by default it will be set on your system as this: reduce the volume of other sounds by 80%. So what happens if there's a sound in the background which sounds like a ringtone, then Windows will reduce the sound or the volume that's being outputted by 80%. So you could be watching something or a video, for example, and the sound will all of a sudden sort of drop by 80%. So you want to make sure that Windows does nothing. So click the do nothing box and click OK. The third thing I'm going to look at is the trackpad settings. So after some time of playing around with the Toshiba, I've discovered that the trackpad settings, or I'm going to show you my trackpad settings, and you may want to copy those on your system. So I'm going to swipe in from the side and click search, and just go to the control panel to open up the mouse. Now you can do it down here in one of these options down here, but I think it's this one here actually for the touchpad. But I'm just going to click on from mouse sort of side of things. So these are the settings I've got on the buttons in terms of everything's as standard there. And again here for pointer options, now I tend to go for the mouse to be maximum speed. That means that when you traverse across the screen, it will go quite quickly. Again, that's something that's it's completely up to you. Hardware, don't need to touch that. But for advanced, this is where you find the options to change the things for the touchpad. Just like down here, this button here will take you to the advanced features. So I don't use circular scrolling. I don't use the pinch zoom. What I find with that is that I can accidentally enlarge websites or programs, so I've switched that off. I do like the pan scroll. That's a two-fingered scroll, so if you're a Mac user, you're probably quite familiar with that, in that when you're on a web page you can use two fingers to scroll up and down, and it just shows you here you can actually scroll left to right and also up and down using your two fingers. Two-finger tap as well. Again, a lot of these things are personal things. I'm just going to go across here. I do have the acupoint, which is the blue button which is in the middle, so that's an alternative to the mouse. Again, not many people use this. You can deactivate it if you want to. I just leave it on. It doesn't seem to interfere with anything. So these are my scroll settings. Now for the touchpad, most of you will have this use browser support function already activated, and what it does, it sets areas of the trackpad that you can use to scroll with, and it's quite annoying, because sometimes when you swipe left or right on a web page, it will actually flick from one page to the other, or to the previous page that you've had loaded. So I'm not used to it at the moment, so I actually deactivate the browser support function. These things I've also deactivated. Touch guard, I've got it set as default. Prevent accidental touch operation, these are all checked. For the edge action, if you are not used to, so that these sort of things are when you're swiping down from the top, you can close a program, which I think is quite useful. The right edge action brings in the charms bar. I use that quite often. For the left edge action allows you to swipe between open apps. Others, there's the icon for the touch, so you can get to the same menu by clicking this. I think I've gone through all of those. I hope you found that useful.